Greetings, demons, and welcome to Warhammer Weekly, episode 16. So this week we had the Warhammer Skulls event, which is essentially the, 40k and Age of Sigmar video game event, and there wasn't really too much. There's one thing to talk about from that, but I will be going over all the games that were announced because I think it's interesting, and at the end of the day, this is a gaming channel. But on top of that, I do actually have some pickups this week, so we're going to get into those before we get into the main topics.
Not the leader of a cult, RabbitWithAxe.
And so, starting off with everything I've picked up this week, once again, it's that time of the month. Stormbringer, all the next issues, I don't know, is it 14 to 18 or something, or 12 to 16 or something like that. But in any case, we have issue 14 with the Manskewer Boyz, the Ogre Moor Tribes, Stormcast Allies. Okay. Wait, what? Stormcast Allies? I assume that's just something there's an article on, but yeah, the Manskewer Boyz, that's the model, that is the sprue, very nice. We also have two paints with Mephiston Red and Wraithbone, which my Wraithbone is looking a little bit questionable. I have to shake that up a bit, but Mephiston Red, always nice to have more of that. We also have, with issue 11, so it's, wait, what? Is it, what issues do I have here? It might be 11 to 15? 13? I don't know. We have the Beast Skewer Killboy, which looks amazing. There's the sprue. I'm really looking forward to building these. Like, all of the orc stuff I love, and that is the stuff that I'm actually building. My partner is actually building all the Stormcast stuff. I'm very excited for these. Like, this stuff is really cool to me. I do love those. And then, finally, the thing that I'm less interested in, this is issue 12. There we go. With the Storm Strike Chariot, which my partner's definitely going to love. She loves that kind of aesthetic. And, yeah, it's some dogs pulling a chariot. It looks pretty cool. It actually looks pretty neat. I do quite like it, but it's not my aesthetic, so very happy to be not building that one. And because it was order, I don't know, is that my 5th? Is that my 6th? Something like that. I did also get the Warhammer Stormbringer mug, wash before use, of course. I haven't actually looked at this yet, so let's actually have a look. What is the design on here? I assume it's just the key art for Stormbringer, but I could be wrong. Okay, so we've got the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Stormbringer logo, and on the other side, it's one of these that changes based on like heat or whatever. So we've got the Iron Fanes with a Stormbringer. Okay, with a not Stormbringer. What are they called? The yeah, I named them earlier, but yeah, that's color changing. So I don't know if my hand is warm enough to do anything with that. Maybe not. No, I don't think I'm going to be able to show it on camera because I don't drink hot drinks. But, yeah, pretty nice mug. Cool. I like that. And, I guess the last thing to show off is I actually ended up picking up the monthly model. And the reason why he's not on his base is because I didn't actually make this in store. I was given the option to just take it because it was a single sprue model. And, yeah, we've got an Adeptus Arbites. I like him. I think he's really cool. The little shotgun design, the baton on his back is very cool. All the little gizmos and gadgets that are on him are very neat. Just generally just a very nice model. I'm very happy with how he turned out. And it kind of makes me want to build a kill team of these. Like, I'm not going to, because I have too many kill teams. I have like 7 or 8 kill teams at this point. But, yeah, very cool. I'm very looking forward to painting him up as Judge Dredd. And, yeah, that is everything for pickups this week. And getting into the main topics, first off, we have all the announcements from Warhammer Skulls, and I'm kind of just going to ad-lib this for the most part. I've got the list in front of me, but I'm just going to kind of chat about what there is, because some of these I don't really care about at all, some of these I'm really excited for, but starting off, we have Warhammer Age of Sigmar Realms of Ruin. So this is a real-time strategy game, not my real thing, but it looks good, for people that like the real-time strategy games from Warhammer. It's a new AOS one. It looks really good, like, graphically. It actually looks really, really nice. And, just generally, it's looking like it's going to be a fun game, but nothing I'm all that interested in. Something I am interested in, though, is Warhammer 40k Speed Freaks. So this is a racing game with orcs, and, you know, if I haven't sold you on that, I'm not going to sell you, because that is the entire premise, that is the entirety of this game. There is actually an alpha playtest right now, which I will be covering in maybe like 2 weeks on the channel, just because, yeah, my schedule for this channel is a bit all over the place right now. But yeah, Speed Freaks looks absolutely amazing. I'm really looking forward to it. I've avoided trailers for all these, so all I've seen is the screenshots and the promotional art. But yeah, Speed Freaks I am really looking forward to, and yeah, expect that video a bit later in the coming weeks, in the next 1 or 2 weeks. So yeah, very cool. We did get a announcement about Space Marine 2. Obviously the game itself was already announced, but there is something that I will get into a little bit later in this video about Space Marine 2, but moving on. Total War Warhammer 3 was announced, which is cool for people that like those games. I'm not a fan of Total War personally, but I know a lot of people are, so yeah, the third one of those is coming. Something else that was really interesting to me, Power Wash Simulator x Warhammer 40k. That is such a weird collab, and honestly, I'm really excited for it. It's going to be something interesting, I'm sure. But yeah, it looks very fun. I'm a fan of the concept behind Power Wash Simulator. I've just yet to actually get it myself, but there was a SpongeBob collab recently, this Warhammer collab. It's just, there's a lot to make me interested, so I'm definitely going to be playing that at some point on the channel. But yeah, we also have the Warhammer 40,000 Warp Forge card game, which looks very, I guess, Hearthstone-y. It's not the same sort of thing, but it's a card game, video game. It's, you know, it's cool and everything, but it's nothing all that interesting. And then, I guess, the final thing to kind of finish off, because I'm not going to talk about the DLCs and stuff, we did have bolt guns for release. I will be using it as background gameplay for this series in 2 or 3 weeks, depending on how long my Shooters Blood and Teeth gameplay lasts. But, yeah, bolt gun I'm very excited for. There is actually a really cool colorway of the Xbox Series controller. There's 2 of them, actually. One that's, like, mainly white and black with some blue and gold, and one that's very blue with white and gold. And yeah, it just looks cool. It's a Design Lab controller, but it does look very cool. But yeah, bolt gun, very excited for that one to actually play it. So that is out right now, along with, I believe, Rogue Trader is also out right now. So yeah, just a lot of Warhammer games coming, and yeah, quite a few of them I'm very interested in. As I say, I'm going to be covering Speed Freaks later in the, well, I guess next month. And, yeah, everything else, like, I will be covering Space Marine 2 eventually. The Power Wash Simulator collab is going to be interesting, and, of course, as I say, bolt gun is going to be background gameplay for this series at some point. But, yeah, a lot of cool stuff from Skulls, and let's get into the next topic. And this is something that's a little bit different. We are actually able to watch the first episode of Black Talon for free on Warhammer Plus without a Warhammer Plus membership until the 30th of May, so this will be going up on the 28th, so just bear in mind, there isn't much time left between this episode going up and when you can actually watch Black Talon, but I definitely recommend it, especially if you're a fan of Age of Sigmar and Warhammer Fantasy and stuff. Black Talon's very good. I definitely recommend checking out the first episode. Might make you want to get Warhammer Plus. But, yeah, in any case, that is really all I had for that. I thought it was worth mentioning, because I know a lot of people are always umming and ahhing about Warhammer Plus. Definitely worth checking out if you're interested in Black Talon. There's a lot of information about Black Talon out there, so, you know, check it out, see if you're interested, and if so, make sure you watch it before the 30th of May. And moving on into the Old World Development Diary. It's been a little while, but the only major thing that I want to talk about here is that some of the other factions have been announced for the game. This includes the Dark Elves, the Skaven, the Vampire Counts, the Demons of Chaos, the Ogre Kingdoms, the Lizard Men, and the Chaos Dwarves. So, yeah, basically, if you have the old fantasy models, the fantasy battle models specifically, you can use any of those immediately. If they are from the final edition of Warhammer Fantasy Battles, you can just use those models straight away. There's going to be free PDFs available when Old World releases. And otherwise, There's going to be some crossover between Age of Sigmar and Old World, but it's essentially, if those models or those units existed in Fantasy Battles, you can use the new models as long as you rebase them. Otherwise, you know, you're waiting for the actual Old World models, or you're going to have to be investing in some Warhammer Fantasy models, which I would say if you're someone who's wanting to run any of the Old World factions and you don't have the models already, definitely invest now. As soon as Old World releases, fantasy models are going to get really, really expensive. Right now, they're pretty cheap in the grand scheme of things because they're not really that usable and they don't look as good as a lot of, you know, Age of Sigmar models especially. So, yeah, I definitely suggest if you're interested in playing Old World when it comes out, get your models now, work on them, make them as good as they can be. You know, we already have all the information about the base sizes and stuff, so just go and sort those out, and then you'll be able to actually play when it comes out and you won't get scalped by people on eBay. So, yeah, very, very cool. There is obviously the other core factions, Empire of Man, Orc and Goblin Tribes, Dwarven Mountain Holds, Warriors of Chaos, Kingdom of Bretonia, Beastmen Brayherds, Wood Elf Realms, Tomb Kings of Khemri, and Higher Elf Realms. So, yeah, a lot of stuff to work with there. I just definitely suggest getting your army while, you know, the prices are low on those models, and then I'm sure there'll be new models for most of these factions, if not all of them. But, in any case, just definitely worth time to actually get your fantasy models now, get your AOS models that are compatible with Old World, and, yeah, start building your armies. And so, the final thing that came from Skulls this week is actually a real model, and an actual full board game, surprisingly enough. So, we actually got the full announcement of Space Marine, the board game. Yes, that's right, a board game based on a video game, which itself is based on a tabletop strategy game. So, yeah, it's a very interesting concept. There's actually a really fun trailer relating to it, which I'm not going to be showing in this video, unfortunately, but I'm sure you can find it. You can actually find it on the article, linked in the description below. But, yeah, the main reason I wanted to talk about this, because, I mean, obviously a board game is great for Space Marine, but you actually get a exclusive Lieutenant Titus. So if you don't know, that's the main character from Space Marine, and, well, technically it's Space Marine 2, because in Space Marine 1 he's a captain, but either way, we have a new Lieutenant miniature, and it is Lieutenant Titus. The posing on him does not look great on the camera angles that they've chosen for the photos. They really wanted to show his face, even though his face doesn't look that much like Titus. It definitely says Titus to me, like, I can see that it's Titus, but that stoicism that we see a lot of him is just not there. He's very angry, he's very screamy, and it works, it's fine, but I understand a lot of people complaining about it. It doesn't necessarily scream Titus that much, and I get that. But, yeah, otherwise, with the Space Marine in the board game, you get a bunch of Tyranid models. I think they're all, are they all Termagants? Yeah, you get 20 Termagants and 2 Ripper Swarms, because the Ripper Swarms are on the Termagon sprue. But, yeah, it's just a 20v1, 20 Termagants versus 1 Space Marine game. I don't know completely how it's going to function in terms of, you know, is it one player playing as Titus while one other player plays as the Tyranids, or is it like, you know, almost like a PvE mode where it's just a one-player game? I don't actually know. We don't have the full details of that. But in any case, it looks very, very good. You get a double-sided playmat, you get a bunch of markers, you get a bunch of dice, and of course the, you know, 25 models that are included. But, yeah, as well as the, you know, the 40-page rulebook and lore book and stuff. So, yeah, just a very cool thing. It is going to be exclusive to Target, at least at first, though the actual Lieutenant Titus model will not remain exclusive. That will eventually just be sold separately. So, yeah, for me, I'm probably going to try and get the board game, though if, you know, that gets a bit too hard with scalpers and stuff, I'm going to get Lieutenant Titus. I love the Space Marine game, and having, you know, a little miniature of him, I actually tried, this was about a year ago, to build a, you know, custom kit-bashed version of Captain Titus, and it didn't work out too well. I never actually finished it, but yeah, I'm very much looking forward to having him in plastic form, even if it is Lieutenant Titus. And yeah, that is really everything I can say. I'd say that was the big thing for me personally from Skulls, but yeah, very cool. And moving on to some Age of Sigmar, we have the announcement of 2 new models for the Free Guild Marshal Leads. Leads? That's not sense. The Free Guild Marshal. Anyway, so you actually get 2 models here. They are just like a set of 2 models. And, yeah, they look pretty cool. They're just essentially Dawnbringer Crusade Marshals for Cities of Sigmar. And, yeah, they look pretty cool, really. The Relic Envoys. That's what they refer to. So I'm rereading through this. I haven't read through it in, like, since it came out, this article, but yeah, essentially it's just 2 models, one of which is carrying, I guess, a Warhammer and a helmet, while the other has a sword and I think it's a relic, like a family relic or something. I think it says somewhere in here. Artifact or relic from the family line. Particular morbid mementos may even be blessed with death rites, allowing mummified heads or revered relatives to whisper advice or embarrassing anecdotes from beyond the grave. So, yeah, it's essentially a potentially living, severed head in a box, with little doors and little skull on top and stuff. And, yeah, these models actually look really cool. I do quite like them. There are actually some other options for the older guy, on the right. So you've got a guy with a shield and a sword, a guy with 2 pistols, and then obviously the guy with the Warhammer and helmet design. And yeah, overall looks pretty cool. Is it in... Okay, I think these are plastic because it doesn't actually say anything about resin, but yeah, pretty cool. More stuff for Age of Sigmar, and yeah, just some neat models. I quite like them. I do quite like the one on the left, especially the one that has the little zombified head. I do quite like that model, but yeah, pretty cool. And finally, that leaves us with the last topic, the rumour engine for the 23rd of May 2023, and it's a spiky wheel. This could be so many different things. I'm leaning more towards it being Age of Sigmar, but I mean, it could just as easily be Orcs, or it could just as easily be Chaos related. It could actually be something to do with Khorne. It does kind of look like a Khornite symbol, but it's hard to say, really. I don't know. I'm not going to throw any major guesses into the world. I've got a feeling it's going to be something Chaosy, but that could be Age of Sigmar or 40k. I'm leaning more towards Age of Sigmar. It could also be Skaven, which I know is a Chaos army. So, yeah, that's basically my thoughts on it. I'd love to hear yours, but yeah, I've got a feeling we're all going to be kind of in the same boat of it's probably Age of Sigmar, probably Chaos related, nothing really too distinctive about it. But in any case, that is going to be it for this video. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like it, subscribe to and ring that bell so you never miss upload. Otherwise, comment below what you think of all the little topics I've spoken about today. Very interested in hearing people's thoughts about the Space Marine the board game. That thing is really interesting to me, and I'm very excited to actually hopefully get that in hand. But yeah, in any case, that's going to be it from me, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!
Look at the screen, you'll be fine. Culture's a disease, but we'll survive. I just wanna take